Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to my channel, Shellerina Speaks. I'm Shellerina. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get right into this video. As you all can see, that it says marriage is mental, physical, and spiritual. Now, if you have been watching my playlist, Married on My Third Date, you'll know just a little bit about me that I got married on my third date. And now I have been married for going on 20 years now. Throughout the marriage, right, I learned that marriage is not just standing at the altar, it's just not exchanging vows, it's just not having a glamorous wedding. But marriage is beyond all of those things. And it includes having the mental ability to one, make up your mind to get married, the physical ability to be able to see a suitable partner and to communicate with that partner. And it's also spiritual because there are going to be a lot of spiritual attacks against your marriage. These three things, marriage is mental, physical, and spiritual. Let me break it down a little further. When it comes to the mental part of being married, right? You really have to have your mind made up that this is what you want and this is what you want to do. You also have to have mental fortitude when the trials and the tribulations come up in your marriage. If you do not have mental fortitude, you might not make it in the long run because marriage is not hard, but life will happen. A lot of times I hear people say marriage is hard, but those same people, they're not married. And a lot of those people who keep saying that marriage is hard, they're single and they're not in healthy relationships. So marriage is not hard. Marriage simply takes a made up mind between two people mentally who are willing to be together, to stay together through the thick and the thin. Because marriage will encounter the thick and the thin. Okay? Whether it's the good times, oh, it's going to be a lot of good times. Hopefully, if you have selected the right mate. Okay? And a lot of you all know that when I got married, I didn't get married for love. No, we didn't get married out of attraction. We got married because we felt peaceful with each other. When you go into a marriage, you have to know what you want out of it. Okay? You should be right now, if you're a single person, you should start thinking and envisioning your marriage. And you have to be realistic too. Be sure not to envision your marriage as a fantasy. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They have fantasy in their mind. They honestly think that every night somebody will have time to to lay rose petals on the floor, run their bath water with bubbles, massage your feet and your shoulders, bring you home chocolates and candy, sometimes even cook your food every night, or wash your clothes every week, or clean the house all the time. Okay? These things sometimes can be a fantasy. So when you get married, you have to understand, what type of marriage do you want? You also have to take into consideration in your marriage that everything is not going to be your way. You also have to consider the why. Why do you really want to be married? Why? A lot of people can't answer that question outside of probably intimacy, but marriage goes beyond intimacy. And in my experience and my observations from many marriages, the reason why they lasted so long was because of mental fortitude. When I first got married, I don't know where the thought came from, but I always would say in my mind, if it's not a problem, don't make it one. And I would say, even when things would happen, I would say, I'm not going to make it a problem. That begins in the mind. That begins in the mind. Because a lot of people in your marriages, if you're complaining a lot, especially if the person isn't doing anything wrong, and you all know that I'm telling the truth. If we watch enough of these YouTube videos out here, we are seeing women leaving good men. And guys, I'm not trying to jump on you, but unfortunately, too many of you let too many good women go. You have let your princess, your queen, your woman, the person who could have brought out the best in you, you let her get away. So if you're between the ages of 24 through 35 watching this video now, take a second look at the women you are dating and consider one to marry. Because when you make up in your mind that you have found the right woman, and you know that she's the woman for you, because you can't get married without making a mental decision. And I would like to call it an executive partner decision, okay? Because whomever you marry eventually is going to impact you mentally, physically, and spiritually. All right? So consider, why do you want to be married? I can share with you what my thoughts were. Well, first of all, I was 37, right? So by that time, I was on my own, living my best life, everything. And I said, a man at this time in my life, he can't really do anything for me but give me companionship and bring peace to the table. Bring peace to the table. Because I had money, I had my own place, I had my own vehicle. I had a career and still have, of course. But all I needed from a man was companionship and peace. So you all should start considering that now. What do I really need from a woman or a man? And when you decide in your mental mind what you need, that is the type of person you pursue. That is who you marry. Because some people think, oh, they have to bring money to the table, they have to bring this, they have to bring that, which is true. But if that's what you want, you're only being honest with yourself. And if those are the things that weigh the most for you in your decisions, just make sure the priorities are in place. Make sure the priorities are in place. Otherwise, that is what you will wind up with. And that's it. There may not be any respect. It may not be the attention you want. It may not be the consideration and love that you want. So tread carefully. All right? Let's talk a little bit about the physical part of marriage. Whew, well, most people might get married because of the physical attraction. They may get married because of the intimacy, the chemistry. They may get married because of physical things. He has a nice car, she has a nice job, and all those things are good. She's my age, he's the type or my type that I really like. All right? But I have something to tell you. If you're locked into types, let me tell you, the man who you really want or the woman who is best for you as a wife, she may not be your type. In order for you all to accomplish the physical things in life. What are the physical things in life? You two want to be able to work together, to support each other, and to get ahead in life. You're going to need somebody you can work with. So if you're too hooked up on, oh, he is this and he's not my type or she's not my type and things like that, you might be a little too superficial because I'm going to tell you right now, he may not come the way you want him to look. She might not come the way you think she should look. And this also plays a part in a mental maturity and a physical maturity. You can't base your marriage on superficial things because superficial things do not have long lifetimes or long lifespans. Okay? So you have to keep that into consideration. What you think you want physically may be your greatest hindrance. Now, of course, that doesn't mean you have to settle. That does not mean you have to settle. All right? I can understand, yes, there are deal breakers. And everybody's deal breaker is different. Everybody's deal breaker is different. But you might have to just open up your mind and expand your mind a little bit more beyond your comfort zone when it comes to physical attraction or physical things. Nobody is never going to be 100% perfect. Never. Oh, no. They'll never be perfect. If you're looking for a physically perfect person, you're not going to find it. You will not find it. All right? You're not going to find it. You might find close to it. You may find somebody who you can work with and grow with and live peacefully with and love and probably even fall in love if you believe in falling in love. Watching some of my videos, you all know that Chelerina don't believe in falling in love. I believe in respect. And if you have that mental maturity, a physical maturity, respect is going to fall into line. And you will respect that person when they are physically before you and when their back is turned. That is when you know you are mentally and physically mature. A lot of people look at it as age and body development, which it is. But when it comes to marriage, you're going to need a mental maturity, a physical maturity, and a spiritual maturity. You can't play the petty game. You can't play the tit for tat game. That's the biggest thing that can destroy your marriage. Pettiness. Pettiness. And that's where communication comes in on a physical side. And the pettiness is coming from the mental side because it's your thoughts start in your mind and in your heart. Let's talk about spiritual. Now we all know that the scriptures tells us that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But you know what? Nobody never finishes the scriptures. And he will receive the blessings from the Lord. Yep. I'm going to have to put that scripture down in the description area for you all, okay? That's how powerful finding a wife is spiritually. Yes, that is how powerful it is. And he will receive the blessings from the Lord. Now, because the union of marriage is spiritual and is godly anointed, and it's a good thing because the scriptures tells us he who finds a wife finds a good thing. A good thing. Ladies, are you a good thing? I feel it. Are you a good thing? And ladies, when you know that you are a good thing, you're not going to put up with too much foolishness. And you're not going to allow a man. And I won't say a man. I'm not, no, let me roll that back. It's not the man, because the man can only do as far as what you let him do. Vice versa. I'm not attacking men. I'm just laying the cards on the table. As an older woman, only been married one time, got married on my third date, and I am still married. I think there is some credibility to what I have to say. I'm just trying to help you all out, okay? No man or woman should allow for the opposite sex to galvanize your good years. You know, sometimes, the old saying goes, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free, right? Men, when you do this, you are at as much of an injustice, or you're doing an injustice to yourself just as much as the woman is to herself. Because while you're wasting time, you can be in a honored unity of marriage and be receiving the blessings from the Lord that are purpose for marriage. Oh, you're going to be blessed. I'm not quite sure many of you are blessed right now. Okay? Oh, you're going to be blessed, period. But God honors marriage and the bed is undefiled. In other words, you're not shacking up, as the old people would say, okay? You're not shacking up. So you want those blessings. You want that honor. Spiritually, you cannot receive counsel from everybody. Not only is God in the business of blessing marriages, I want you all to be aware or beware of the enemy. Because everything that God has constituted, we have, old Slewfoot, That's what the older generation would say. We have the father of tricks. Okay, is leading up to something here. We have the great deceiver, the devil. He is watching to come and try to turn your house upside down like the cat in the hat. But he will not put it back together again. All right? He's going to try to ease in and sleaze and slither in as the snake that he is. He's going to try to bring back old boyfriends, old girlfriends. He will even use people on your job, in your neighborhood, and your family to try to slither in and drop seeds of deceit. Now, you all would have to be aware of this. Growing up, I've seen a lot of marriages destroyed. Even in my home with my parents, not to tell their business. But you have to be careful who you bring into your house, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Be careful what spirits you let in, because all of them are not for your good. Never let nobody get closer to your spouse than yourself. Never become more friends or friendly with someone other than your spouse. Because when you do that, you are allowing for the enemy to begin to create a spider web around you. And he's just feeding you little seeds of doubt and little speckles of, what can I say, bread to keep you eating, and holding the carrot stick in front of the horse's mouth. Because he's trying to lure you away. Yes. Yes. Okay? He'll try to drop negative thoughts in your mind. And a lot of times, those things are not happening. And I'll tell you something else that I experienced in my marriage. The same negative thoughts that are coming from out of nowhere, that are trying to make you upset at your spouse or nitpick on your spouse or complain and nothing's wrong, or make you feel sad or depressed and nothing's wrong. All bills are paid. Me and him are talking, we're getting along. Why am I getting these evil thoughts? They will come. Oh, they're going to come. And you have to be mature, mentally mature enough, and acknowledge physically when something is not feeling good in your stomach, in your intuition, and you're going to have to be spiritually alert to discern it and communicate. Because it was times in my marriage, especially when I first got married, like within 6 months, I was having all these funny, doubting thoughts, and not so much about getting married. It was just thoughts that was trying to make me angry at my husband. And I'm like, I don't have a reason to be angry at him. I was like literally having a conversation with myself. And then one day my husband happened to say something, and I said, what? I said, I was getting those same thoughts. And then we just started talking and engaging. See, the devil, he'll be playing on both of you all's mind. But if you all are not spiritual enough to perceive it and see it, you might be vulnerable. You might fall y'all know what I'm trying to say, vulnerable to the trick. So you want to be watchful. The best thing I can say to you all, if you want to be married, I would seriously pray about it. Pray about it and pray in earnesty. Write down everything that you want in your mate. Write it down. Write it down. But most importantly, know why. Know why you want to be married. Beyond somebody to take care of me, to pay my bills. And that's a whole nother video about that. And it's nice. Oh, that it's nice to be a trad wife. I had my little opportunity, but I also took my behind back to work. And you may be a trad wife for the rest of your life. But in this day and time, hey, if your husband can house you like that, and you don't want to work, you just want to raise your kids and things like that. And let me say, me and my husband, we don't have any children, so I was just home relaxing pretty much. But all I'm saying is, know why you want to get married, because when things hit you mentally, when things happen physically, sickness can come in your family, a loss of a job, and when the devil is playing on your mind spiritually, you had got to know why you got married. Now, okay? This video is all about people staying married. But you know what your deal breaker could be. I'm not telling nobody to be a fool, because if there's what, physical abuse, some things unfortunately just cannot be tolerated. Nobody's going to stay in a marriage and put their life in jeopardy. So this is a disclaimer. I am not, what is it called, a guru, marriage counselor, none of that. I am just sharing my experience. Okay? Some people are not going to tolerate anybody constantly cheating on them or cheating on them at minimum one time. I was just lucky to not have that in my marriage. And I just believe that me and my husband, we just really had made up in our mind that we were going to be in a committed marriage. Although we did not love each other at first, we shared the same bond of peace. And about 6 months into the marriage, we were able to honestly tell each other that we loved each other without being pressured to say it. But we have never been in love, because both of us do not believe being in love. But that doesn't mean you have to be like that, because everybody expresses themselves differently, right? Okay. Well, I want to say thank you all for tuning in. And I would like to close this with, I see my book. I'm just reaching for my book, with one of the affirmations from out of my book, Nourishing Your Dreams, as you can see it in the upper portion of my video. I like sharing my book because it's a book that can help you through life, especially you young people, 24 to 20, no, 24 to age 35, whether you're a young entrepreneur, whether you want a better quality of life, you want to pursue your dreams. And I saw the analytics on my channel. So most people watching are ages 24 through 35, because you're interested in being married. And that's common, okay? But if you are pursuing to be an entrepreneur, or again, you just want a better quality of life, let me share my affirmations with you. And I'm going to make a playlist out of Nourishing Your Dreams as well. And it will state the thought with the witty response, and I'll go into more detail why the thought came to my mind, and also share a life experience that birthed it out of me. Okay? So it says, do not fear mountains that stand in the way of your success. The witty response is, to stand at the top of the mountain is your success. So unless you're willing to climb the mountain of marriage, you will never experience the success of a marriage. And although I use the metaphor as a mountain, let me back it up with a scripture. If you have faith, you can say to this mountain, be thou cast to the side, and it will be. So marriage is not a mountain of failure. It's a mountain of victory. Thanks again for watching. I'm Chelerina. Thank you for tuning in to ChellerinaTalks.